Well, good morning. Trucker Todd here, and time for another video. Long time no see. Last week I only did a Monday video. There was no Wednesday or Friday video. Excuse me, got a little sore throat. Some of you guys were emailing me and texting me, asking me if I was okay. That's not what this video is going to be about, but I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. I got to go by and see my dad. We went out to dinner with him. My wife was on the truck with me. She's off now. We was just enjoying time together. And it was mostly personal stuff, nothing bad. I did get in a little spat with Dart, and I'm still debating with myself if I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm still trying to work behind the scenes to take care of that. But everything's great. Hopefully I'm back on the horse and I can provide you guys with the 3 videos a week like you've been requesting. Today's video is one that it's probably the most asked thing I get asked here lately, and it's, well, which truck do you like better, your 2022 Peterbilt 579 or the 2019 Kenworth T680 that you traded in for this one? Well, in this video I'm going to try to answer that. In past videos I've tried to answer it, and if I start talking about the Kenworth, everybody thinks I hate the Peterbilt. And if I start talking about the Peterbilt, everybody thinks I hate the Kenworth. To be fair, before we go any further, I just want to tell you guys, I like both of them. I could argue for both of them. There's clearly some advantages to the Peterbilt because it is 3 years newer. And so it's got 3 years less miles, wear and tear, things like that. But there is some other things that we can talk about, and we're going to do that in this video. So before we jump in, you guys look down below this video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Give it a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms. And there's a lot of great information in the description below, including how you can apply at Dart Transit. There's a link there. So without any further ado, let's jump into today's video. Here we go.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round. For my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
Alrighty, we're back. I think, to be fair, we probably need to start with the Kenworth T680, the 2019. It had 300 and something thousand miles on it, if I remember correctly. Just shy of 400,000. Had like 243 or so when I got it. And in all fairness, it was a great truck. At the end of the year, I had a total of 7 weeks of breakdown. But it wasn't major stuff. It was just that it was hard to get parts for. It had the PACCAR engine. The Peterbilt has the Cummins. And I love both engines. They're both great. The PACCAR engine, without a doubt, in the 2019 Kenworth, had more power than this Cummins engine does. But the Cummins, without a doubt, is more fuel efficient. And so they both have their pros and cons. I think the Cummins probably is a little smoother idling when you're sleeping at night. And so, like I said, there's trade-offs with both. But as far as pulling power, the PACCAR beats the Cummins to death. They both have the 12-speed automatic transmission, so I feel like I can give a fairly accurate comparison in power. Whereas if one of them would have had a 10-speed or a 13-speed, obviously I could get in more precise gears, and that one would probably have the power advantage. But anyway, driving wise, they're sister trucks, so they have a lot of similarities. The Kenworth, for some reason, if the wind hit the A-pillar, which is the side frames around the windshield, if it hit it at just the right angle, it would make a whistling noise. I know several of y'all, I asked you about it and you said it was a design flaw in the T680. And even though this Peterbilt 579 is basically the same cab, I don't have that whistling anymore. Now, it may develop when this truck has 300,000 on it. Who knows? Also, the Kenworth rattles a little more than what this new one does, and we could attribute that to miles as well. I'm sure this one will have some creaks and rattles as the miles pile up on it. One thing that the Kenworth had, and you guys are going to think this is minor, but this is a big deal. The cup holders in the Kenworth were far superior to the Peterbilt. Now, I've seen videos where they complain about the Peterbilt cup holders rattling. I don't have that problem, but they're an awkward size, and you put a drink in the cup holder, and a lot of times it's rattling around in this Peterbilt. Whereas in the Kenworth, it always seemed to fit. And there was also a little convenient catch-all thing there that you could throw change and stuff like in it. So I really did like the Kenworth dash layout. Now, as far as the sleeper, they're similar in a lot of ways, except they're the opposite. So for example, in the Kenworth, the refrigerator was directly behind the driver's seat. On the Peterbilt, it's directly behind the passenger seat. For some odd reason, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. For some odd reason, this Peterbilt has a lot more storage. And so we are enjoying the room in here. You might can see behind me if you look up there, the top bunk folds in half. And that allows you to use it like a cabinet. I've got a lot of stuff stored behind there, but with it folded up, you can't see it. It's out of the way. If I were to have to hit my brakes in an emergency situation, it's not going to throw stuff at me. And so Dart used to have a safety video in their orientation classes, and basically it showed a truck in a crash and how stuff was flying around, TVs and stuff were flying around in the cab, hitting the driver. And the point of the video was to show you the importance of securing everything in your truck. And it's been years since I've seen that video. They don't use it no more, but it's always stuck with me, the importance of not having a bunch of loose objects laying around. But that's a subject for another day. As for looks, I personally like the way the black Peterbilt looks over the Kenworth T680. I might have a different opinion if my Kenworth had been black. My dad, when we had lunch with him, he looked at this truck and he said he preferred the Kenworth I had before better. But that's just personal preference, and to each their own. But both trucks, this Peterbilt, one thing I want to say about it, and not just in comparison to the Kenworth, the way they've got this transmission programmed, it is by far the best truck I've ever driven in winter weather. And so it's a pleasure to drive it in inclement conditions. Now, let's talk about some negatives. The Kenworth, the auto start stop, which if you have a Freightliner, it's opti-idle. They all call them something different. They all basically do the same thing. You set the temperature in the back, and the truck turns on and off to keep at that temperature in the truck. On the Kenworth, it worked great if you were using the air conditioner. Like if you was in a hot climate, like right now where I'm in Southern California, it worked great. But if you got somewhere cold and you were using the heater, it would not start the truck when the batteries got low. So it had beepers and buzzers that would tell you a low voltage warning, and you'd have to get up in the middle of the night and crank the truck. It was a little inconvenient, but it wasn't a deal breaker. Now, when I got this Peterbilt, they said it had auto start stop, but they said it didn't work with the heating and cooling, that it just maintained the battery. Well, when they had the auto shutdown on and the truck would shut off after 5 minutes, the auto start stop was working. And when they went in and turned off the idle shutdown so that I could idle as long as I needed to, all of a sudden my auto start stop didn't work. So I'm not sure if the guy that programmed it again programmed something wrong or what's going on. but it's worthless in this Peterbilt. Now, the bunk heater will, it'll heat the truck for a good 8 hours before you got to get up and start the truck. But at some point during the night, you will have to get up and start the truck. And of course, if you're going to run the air conditioner, you just have to idle. The long-term solution for this truck is to get an APU, probably when it pays off. You guys know how I feel about doing a lot of work to trucks before they're paid off. I don't recommend it because anything could happen. But the short-term solution is the next time I have it in a Peterbilt dealer, I'm going to have them take a look at it and see if they can figure out what's wrong with it. It's probably covered under warranty. I've got like 76,000 miles on it now, so I'm not worried about running out of warranty anytime soon, but it is something that needs to be looked at. As far as headlights, both have good headlights, but this Peterbilt has LEDs and they are great. So it's not that there's something wrong with the design of the or function of the T680's headlights. All right, sorry about that. My camera overheated. I'm going to repeat what I just said. The Peterbilt does outperform the Kenworth T680 when it comes to headlights and being able to see at night. And that's because the Peterbilt has LED lights and they are superior without a doubt. It's nothing to do with the design or function of the Kenworth's headlights. These are just a more premium headlight. As far as safety, I've covered it in other videos. This Peterbilt is a little bit more refined with the Bendix system than what the Kenworth had, but they're both a terrible system. You guys know how I feel about Bendix. I do like the blind spot monitoring, and like I said, I have seen some improvements, but I look for software updates in the future to improve it even more. Personally, I'd like to have a truck that didn't have none of that stuff on it, but those days I think are slowly coming to an end, and we all have to adapt with changes in the industry. So I'm not sure, I'm sure I haven't covered everything. I'm a little rusty because I hadn't been putting out videos lately. You guys feel free to email me, leave a comment below with your questions about the two trucks, and I'll try to answer them for you. And we'll wrap it up. Wednesday we will have a rant video, and Friday we'll have something else. So you guys have a great week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.